we should uh, try and look at the fundamentals of our church, meaning the beliefs, the Adventist beliefs that we we have as as a church. So I've decided that we look at one of those fundamentals. I had wanted to obviously look at something else, but I was reminded of that undertaking that we had made. So, how many fundamentals do we have as a church? How many fundamentals do we have? Sorry? 28. Eh? So we have 28 fundamental beliefs. So we are going to look at fundamental belief number 22. And this is on Christian behavior. So, and that's what this fundamental says. It says we are called to be a godly people who think, feel, and act in harmony with biblical principles in all aspects of personal and social life. For the Spirit to recreate in us the character of our Lord, we involve ourselves only in those things that will produce Christ-like purity, health, and joy in our lives. This means that our amusements and entertainment should meet the highest standards of Christian taste and beauty, while recognizing culture differences. Our dress is to be simple, modest, and neat, befitting those whose true beauty does not consist of outward adornment, but in the imperishable ornaments of a gentle and quiet spirit. It also means that because our bodies are the temples of the Holy Spirit, we are to care for them intelligently, along with the adequate exercise and rest. We are to adopt the most healthful diet possible and abstain from unclean foods identified in the scriptures. Since alcoholic beverages, tobacco, and the irresponsible use of drugs and narcotics are harmful to our bodies, we are to abstain from them as well. Instead, to engage in whatever brings our thoughts and bodies into discipline of Christ, who desires our wholesomeness, joy, and goodness. So that is what, fundamental belief number 22 on Christian behavior says. So you can see that it covers, aspect of appearance, meaning the way we dress, and it also covers the aspect of the things that we need to take or to consume in our bodies. Those that we are discouraged from consuming, and those that we ought to. The ones that are said to be clean. So we are not going to look at food, but we are going to look at the aspect of uh, which obviously we have done many times at this church, and maybe that's why we have no problem with that matter, because we have dealt with it at length. So we are going to look at dressing. You agree with me that the dressing that we find in out there is not something that you can obviously one would be happy with. West still us that believers, we should not even be part, or what we see should not be found among us, ourselves. So the material that I'm using is basically coming from a book called The Counsels for the Churches. It's one of the books that was written by Sister White. And in opening on this same matter or subject, she says, in dress as in all things else, it is our privilege to honor our Creator. He desires our clothing to be not only neat and healthful, but appropriate and becoming. So what we and healthful, but appropriate and becoming. If we are dressed the way we are dressed, where we are here today, or at this time, or do you think this dressing would be appropriate if you went to, or your intention was to go and and play football and or and play netball? Obviously, it won't, because you won't be able to play, to play. So it's not appropriate, for that occasion. So we need to have wisdom, to basically know what is appropriate for that particular situation or occasion. So we should seek to make the best of our appearance. In the tabernacle service, God specified every detail concerning the garments of those who ministered before him. Thus, we are taught that he has a preference in regard to dress of those who serve him. So, when we are in church here, we obviously need to dress appropriately, so that our dressing should honor, should honor God. Can someone open Exodus? Exodus chapter 28. And we can read from verse 5 up to maybe 9.
Exodus 28, verse
28, starting from verse 5.
From verse 5, I'm reading from the NIV. Make them use gold and blue, purple, and scarlet yarn. 28 verse 5.
Yes.
Make them use gold and blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and fine linen. 6. Make the ephod and gold and of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and of finely twisted linen, the work of the skilled craftsman. It is to have 2 shoulder pieces attached to 2 of its corners, so that it can be fastened. Its skillfully woven waistband is to be like it, of one piece with the ephod and made with gold, and within blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and with finely twisted linen. 9. Take 2 onyx stones and engrave on them the names of the sons of Israel. I go up to.
Okay, you can stop there. Obviously, it still goes on. But from what, Sister Ngando has read, what have we gotten from what that passage, says? What is being, what instruction is being given, to do what? What is, being done there? What is being done? They are given the instruction is being given on how to cook, to eat, or
how to make the garments.
So you see that God was giving instructions on how the robe of Aaron was supposed to be sewn or woven, even as he goes in the temple to pray, for the children of Israel. So if God can go, to those details, it just shows how exact and specific He is with the way He expects us to conduct ourselves or to dress, even as we come in His temple. So we cannot afford to be careless, to have a laissez-faire attitude of how we appear before Him. So we can't say it doesn't matter. What matters is what is in my heart. That is not what is expected of us. Now, we can read some few scriptures there of what is basically contained under this, fundamental belief, on Christian behavior. We can go to 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14.
Second Corinthians 6:14. Do not be yoked together with unbelievers, for what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness?
Thank you. Now, you see, in this world where we are living, in today, there are trends, that basically, of things that happen. What is trending? Like at the moment, what is trending is the budget for 2022. That's what is trending. In the world of fashion, obviously there could be certain garments that are trending. That if we are not careful, basically we can we can join the trend also, and that amounts to being basically to being yoked, because you have basically jumped on the bandwagon. So that should not be how children of God ought to behave. I was talking about betting in the morning. So that betting, it is trending, and for me, I actually get worried for the young people. But it's not just the young people, even the elderly, elderly men. I don't know about women, but men, it is a big problem. Some people, they move with big books. They are like books, you know, as if they are, they are studying to become professors or what. But that thing, I don't know what is inside there. You find where they sit, they keep marking, marking things, you know, uh, you know. So you see, that is basically being yoked. You join, things that are ungodly. That is ungodly. You want, free things. Last time we won a stove, but we didn't enter a raffle. We the bank, which Barclays, we've not even used that stove. It's on this side is a gas stove, and then on the other side is electricity. So they had I think a promotion that those that kept a minimum of 1,000 in their in their account, they stood a chance. It never even obviously crossed my mind or our mind. Then one time they just phoned that you won a stove. I said, where? They said, no, at Barclays, so you can come. So I went there, and so 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 you see, that is not. I'm obviously reluctant. Sometimes they say, if in ShopRite or whatever, if you buy, some, then you can drop, So many times I avoid, participating in such. So we can also read 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19 and 20. First Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19 and 20.
19.
Mhm.
Do you know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your body.
Thank you. So we are a property of God, and we need to represent God in the rightful way and in the rightful manner. And this also includes the way we dress, and this is not just here at church, but even out there, where we are found more than we are found actually, here um, at church. And this, is is actually, a big thing to our, our mothers, to make sure that we help our children, so that, they do not basically, copy what they are seeing, around. And we should be, role models ourselves, for them. You know, so if it is possible, even in our homes, we should be tying chitenge, so that, our little daughters can actually know that, they need to tie a chitenge, because you see, you say no, they will do that, or when they are old, So if you cannot help them, whilst they are young, and because they have been seeing you that, you don't put on a chitenge, they are going to basically assume that, life is about not putting on chitenge, because you are misleading them, you know. So don't mislead them, because then we are going to have, a confused, a lot, a, you see, me, where where I live, my children, they have never seen, this part. I will button up, I can't be walking, like, because you see, here, they are my children, you see, if they are, my children, those that are going to, obviously, unfortunately, they are not following what, they see in me. That's the problem that is there. But if they followed what they see in me, I think they were going to end up, you know, uh, being responsible, children. So you see, if I'm going to be walking with my chest, all over, because it's in the house and they are seeing, then ideally they are supposed to also, to join, that kind of, arrangement. So we should do, mothers, we should do help our children, and fathers, we should do help, our children, so that if they go astray, then they have just chosen, they have decided, none of my children is going to point a finger at me that I'm this way because, you taught me to be this way. They have accepted to be taught by other people, not me. You know. So that one we've read it already. The example of Aaron there, and the iPod that was made for him and his children. So the dress and its arrangement upon the person is generally found to be the index of the man or the woman. So you see, the way you dress, it basically tells people who you are. It is a reflection of what lies in your heart. You can't say, don't judge me by what I'm wearing. Because what you are wearing, it is basically an index or an outward description or announcement of who you are. So basically, we judge the person's character by the style of dress worn. A modest, godly woman and man, obviously I've just put that, will dress modestly. This is what, Sister White says. I beg of our people to walk carefully and circumspectively before God. Follow the customs in dress so far as they conform to health principles. Uh, also dressing, it is also situational. The way we dress here, if you were to live in a country like maybe Canada or Scotland, you see, in this church, we discourage women wearing trousers. Well, not we discourage. The Bible, obviously, is that debate, about trousers. The assumption is that a trouser is actually, it pertains to a man. I don't know if that is the correct picture. But those, the Hebrews, inside, to have that, but inside, they were like almost, what maybe the Indians, do, Now, you see, in countries like that, when it's winter, it is difficult to be in the attire that, we are in, or because you see, it's so cold, like, because there's this ice sometimes, there will be snow maybe for 1 week. It can't melt because there is no sun. So when you are walking, even if you are, you are wearing a trousers, it's like you are in a deep freezer. It's like you are not wearing anything. Now you can imagine if, you are exposed, it's a big problem. Remember one time electricity had become an issue as the students then, so we said we should not be switching on the heaters, in the night. You can't sleep. Even if you wear clothes. Actually, when I went, I had to go with the Nafik and all these blankets here because they don't have, these blankets that, we have, the heavy ones, So, but we have no excuse ourselves because our situation is not like the situation, that obtains, out there. So maybe there is a comment, someone wants to comment something or ask a question. You can, you are free to do so.
Thank you very much, Elder. It's a nice study. And we need more of these studies. It's a pity when we consider the fashions of the world now. The way the fashions of the world have crept in the SDA churches. It's like when you look at our mothers, our female folk, the way they are dressing now, it's like we are in the world. There's no difference. The world and the Christian, more especially an Adventist. When an Adventist is walking, going to church, some you can't tell that that's an Adventist. You think maybe she's just going to some other activities, not to worship the living God. It's a shame when you look at some, the way they dress, they expose their inside parts. Some of us, we fail to express ourselves because they are leaders, they are ministers who've got that duty to bring out issues like that in church. Because personally, I cannot just stand and tell someone, no, the way you are dressed is, I'll be considered as not well up here. I'm appealing to my mothers, please. When you see these young ladies, they are not dressed well, please approach them. I remember in the oldies, when we were still young, more especially at Changa SDA Church in Chingola, I would see mothers, Dorcas mothers. They would stand and approach A woman who is not dressed well, they'll give her a chitenge. But nowadays, you can't see such things. And it's like we are enjoying seeing our female folk coming to church half naked, which is not good. Thank you very much.
So now, is it possible to identify? He was, thank you so much, sir. He was talking about an Adventist that nowadays is difficult to actually tell who an Adventist is when we meet in town. So is it possible to tell that this one is an Adventist or this one is a Pentecostal, this one maybe he does not go to church? Is it possible to tell, on face value? Sorry? It's not possible. Elder Chongo says that it is not possible. Do we agree that it is not possible to tell? Even you can't tell, so it's not possible. Is that the correct position? It's possible. Sister Ntinga says that it is actually possible. So what is the consensus? Is it possible or it's not possible? It's not possible. Am I hearing someone saying it's not possible? Is that Sister Mundanya? Okay. Sister Imambo, Sister Imambo wants to say something.
Elder, I think we are living in the last days. Dressing is no longer regarded. During the Kaunda days, there was a dress code. People used to dress decently. But because of this new age, I don't know whether it's new age or new dawn, things have gone the way they want them to be. There is freedom of everything. In the church here, you cannot approach your friend's daughter and tell her that you are not properly dressed. It's the mother who is going to react. So it's very, very difficult. Some of these children, they go to school, leave the home in uniforms, but in the bag, there's something else. Even as you said, the elder, to say, maybe mothers should be models to these children. There are some of us mothers who dress even worse than our children. So what are you portraying? How do you discipline such a child? And how do you bring up such a child? The child is going to do worse things than what you have done. I remember Soja, sorry, I call her Soja. This one was a deaconess. She was called names, trying to discipline children in this church. It is a thing, I think, where we have reached is quite difficult, because if it cannot start from a home, there is no way it is going to start in a church. First, the parents at home, the children should see how the parent behaves. You come in a church is a big person. Us women, we are unfortunate. The materials of these clothes we put on, Some are very light. And you be moving, there's nothing inside. And there are these young children who are saying they're embarrassed when they see an old person like that. So we need to train or to teach or to pray to our God to help us so that maybe the generation, but you do not. Because even you elders, you fail to tell your wives, even when you are coming together from the home, but no, I think you are not dressed properly. Some fear to correct their wives. Some fear to correct their children. The children becomes so unruly that I'm not in the old days which you are saying. This is new generation. And they copy a lot of things on these laptops. There are a lot of fashion in those machines. So to control this generation we are in now, we really need God's intervention. You tell a child to put on a chitenge, you are in a miniskirt. No way. The child do not agree, especially with this season now, when it's so hot. It's an ISO. So we really need to pray. But according to your question, yes, I agree that you can still tell that that one is a Christian. It's not all of them. It's not all women. There are decent women still on this planet Earth.
Thank you so much. I'm told there is a question. Now, before we come to the question we were saying, is it possible to tell, that one is an Adventist? Some of us are saying, no, it is not possible. Some have said that it is possible. So what I can say that it is not all the time that you can tell, and it is not all the time that you can fail to tell. I can give you a testimony. In a town called Stirling in Scotland, I was able to identify one woman that she was an Adventist. Obviously, she was a black person. Those people are what? I actually went to this woman and I asked her, I said, are you an Adventist? And the answer that she gave me was that, yes, I'm an Adventist. From the way she was looking, appearing, I said, I can't miss this one. She's an Adventist. This lady was a nurse. She went to work, obviously, in Scotland. Unfortunately, she had the issues, with the authority there. If you want to go and work as a nurse or as a doctor in these other countries, you need to have a good heart. You cannot be rebuking, your patients the way we do here. There, they don't tolerate that. They will arrest you, they will charge you, they will get your license, and it's a big problem. It's a mess, So, yes, this woman I was able to, and then I started going to one church, I met her there, people from Botswana, we know how they dress. But this one, you could tell that she's an Adventist because, obviously she, she was not dressing the way they dress, there. So it is possible to tell for some, obviously. So So he or she's trying to contribute over the sermon. Now you see, that kind of is where you are saying, where you say, because you have reached an age where they feel that, and because they can't marry, so then this is what is happening, so you can't basically say that because there are no jobs, you know, then you have to resort to gambling. Gambling is a big problem. It's addictive. It's like smoking. It's like drinking alcohol. You become a slave, you know, to basically the gambling. Whatever money that you have, you want to gamble so that you can win. When you lose, you want to borrow money so that you can recover what you have lost. So you basically keep on messing yourself, and it's a big problem. Even in those casinos, they brother skippers. It is not true. If anyone, some people have been helped here to get jobs. Those that are qualified by members within this church. Some people that had difficulties with the fees, we linked them to those that can help them in the those that we have people. One time, actually, we should honor this lady. There is a lady who sometimes sits here. She has helped so many of our children. You know, recently there were two young ladies that came to get letters there because they were trying to basically apply for positions as nurses in UTH there. We wrote the letters and we signed, and we told them what to do, and they did. We said, go and see that elder. You tell him that you want to be at this, at this what. And they told the elder, and the elder, he helped them. They came the following Sabbath that, thank you so much. We have been admitted, here at UTH where we wanted, where we wanted to be. So the members at this church, we try to help where we can.